Hello everyone. It's a delight to have you here. So today it's data analysis 101. So here we'll check out what is data, the roles of a data analyst, what data analysis is, how data is stored, and also database management. What is a database and database management? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your network. There is someone in your network that this is going to be beneficial to. So let's get into class data analysis 101.
Right. So a data, my name is a data. A plus B is equals to data. So like combining two different things together, it's also data. So somebody's name is a data. Your age is a data. Age of certain people in a class is a data. The addresses of individuals in this class is a data. And data is key in our society today in making informed decisions on how to build things, how to develop things, how to improve our society, improve our welfare and things. We need data. We need data to make informed decisions. So data help us make informed decisions. When we analyze data, the reason why we're analyzing data is to get insights from this data to give us informed decisions. So if I let's say, for example, the last election that happened, I'm not talking about whether the rigging or not rigging, but it's like because we had a database of people that registered online to get their voters card. They were able to collect the number of registered voters, and the people that registered did not collect their voters card and things like that. So that's the essence why we need data to be able to make informed decisions. Now with the data, you can say, okay, oh, I got this information about this, so I can say, okay, the percentage of this is this and that. That's what data analysis is really all about in layman's terms. So data can be text or numbers written on papers, or it can be bytes or bits. So whether you're a computer student or you're not a computing system, bytes and bits are sizes of information, right? So inside the memory, now we understand our I'm buying data, gigabytes or MB or things like that. That's where you have your bytes and bits, right? So inside the memory of electronic devices, or it could be facts that are stored inside a person's mind. If I'm going too fast, please feel free to draw me back. There are different kind of data. We have the qualitative data, we have the quantitative data. Now, data can be measured. A quantitative data is something that is, from the name quantitative, is quantity, and quantity can be quantized. So data can be measured. Data types include numbers and statistics. Data answers to the following questions. When you see something, say how much, how many, or how often. That is a quantitative data. Please, am I clear? If you have questions, please use the chat box. So in comparison to quantitative data, we have the qualitative data. Now, qualitative data cannot be measured. There are types that include text, pictures, video, audio, and all other kind of data. And now in this, the questions you can be answering in this qualitative data is how and why. So we say, okay, why is this different from this? Why do we have animals with a tail and two horns, and they're not the same kind of animals? So we have cats. Why do I have a cat and a rabbit? Why is a cat taller than a rabbit, or things like that? So it's just you asking questions that you cannot quantify. That's what qualitative data means. Please, am I clear? I'm going to be asking questions, so you guys should talk. All right. The roles of a data analyst. If someone calls himself a data analyst, it should be able to integrate data. Now, data integration is you combining or working out with different data. So an SQL data analyst integrates data from several data sets into one database to access streaming information. So in this case, I could get data from different sources. Now we'll talk about data sources after this. My data integration is me getting data from different places and combining them together just to be able to make analysis with that data. Now you need to also be able to form a database. If you're going to be working with SQL, you're going to be moving around with playing with it, creating database, creating tables in those databases and things like that. So SQL analysts create database using specific functions like database triggers and querying tables. Now, this clause, we'll see what query means later on and these triggers. So do not worry, we should read that later on. Now, report generation. After performing the entire data analysis procedures, an SQL analyst generates reports and concludes statistically to explain the insights better. Now, what's the essence of me telling you blah, 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 this, if I cannot? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. I think there's a slide for that. Some people call it SQL, some people call it SQL. SQL means structured, the S is for structured, the Q is for queried, and the L is for language, structured query language. Now, after performing data analysis procedures, thank you, John. I see why I see why you nominated. After performing the entire data analysis procedures, an SQL analyst generates reports and concludes statistically to explain the insights better. Now, what you need to also do as a data analyst, you need to be cleaning data. Now, we'll talk about this later on and work with cleaning data, but it's just to give you an insight to what the role of a data analyst is. Now, for any SQL data analyst, you can check out the SQL. It's just because I'm introducing SQL. That's why I kept on putting SQL in front of every sentence. So for any data analyst, it's essential to ensure proper cleaning of the database by removing irrelevant information or by inserting missing values. Now, let me give you an insight. If I'm analyzing a data that has age range, right? Age range has to be like from 0 months, that's from days old, to let's say maybe 200. I don't know if I have anybody that lived up to 200, but like those values are definitely going to be in numerical terms, right? So if I see something that has to be like somebody's age as 18.5, in my head, I'm like, okay, if I ask you what's the age, will you tell me I'm 18.5? Is that okay? I'm going to 18 going on 19, right? 18 going on 19. So that's the best way to answer it. Whether I am 18, I don't tell you I am 18.5. So in this case, I may be able to take that out, or maybe the person is 18 years old and 5 months, or 6 months, yes, that's 18.5. Or I can say, okay, it doesn't tally with other data types. Now, in this case now, we'll talk about data types also, but I think with Simon, you've already done variables and all that. So please let me know in the box. You already know the kind of data types. Do you? Yes or no? Hi. Okay, now since we already know, I need the keypad warriors to tell me the kind of data types they know. What examples of data types do you know? Let me see. Yeah, I've seen, yes, we do. Okay. What types of data types? Thank you. Integers, okay. Strings. What else? We have a lot. Float, okay. Boolean. Strings, integers, Boolean, okay. Floats. Now that's good. So in this case now, if somebody tells me date and time, thank you. Thank you, everyone. If someone says that, or in the data entry, I see 18.5. 18.5 is what? Array, thank you. 18.5 is what kind of data type? Thank you, Obina, it's a float. Now, when as against 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 are all numbers, right? If I see 18.5, it has already tampered with that whole row column of data sets. So in that case, I might decide to either take that out or decide to round it up to the nearest value, which could be 19, or round it down to 18. That's also part of the process of data cleaning, and then we'll get to see that later on. Now, query writing is to perform any specific action on a database or to run any command. The SQL data analyst must frame queries. You need to also be able to resolve data issues, any issue related to data or databases. When you have errors or things like that, you should be able to resolve those issues. And like I told you earlier on, I'm going to be, somebody wrote on my slide, I don't remember when I left it that way. So data analysis involves sorting through massive amounts of unstructured information and driving key insights from it. These insights are further used to make informed decisions, like I said earlier on. How is data stored? Now, sorry, if I said earlier on, data could be text, it could be numbers, it could be anything. Now, in this case now, we all, in one point or time, we've all worked with Excel sheets, right? Or if you've not even worked with Excel sheets, maybe you've drawn a table of a data in either Word or something. So a data or a data source either comes in sheets, worksheets like you have in Excel books. It could come in a text format, as in your Word document. It could come in a PDF file, or even from the browser. It could come from a web page. It could come from a database itself. But this example I have here on my screen now is, thank you, Abimbala. It's from a sheet. This is a snapshot from a sheet. And what we can see, we have columns and rows. Data is stored in tables which are made of rows and columns. Now, this part here, this entire part that has Ali, female, marketing, Lagos, this is a row. No, I said it's not all stored in tables, John. I said that you could get data from a PDF file. You could get data from, what's the name, your browser. You could get data from even an image or video. We said that earlier on, from defining qualitative and quantitative. So not all data are usually in a table format. I could just go to a Can you hear me? I could go to a letter. Sorry, my screen went away. It is connected. So I could just go to what's the name? I could go to a particular browser and I'm trying to extract data from that website, or for an image or something like that. So it's not necessarily has to be in a table. Please hold on. Let my system. I'm trying to get my system to connect. Okay, I think it's coming up. Please let me know. Okay, I should know when I can see my screen. Yeah, we can also see my screen, yeah?
Yes, it's on now.
Okay, thank you. So it's not necessarily it has to be in a table, John. I hope everybody understands that. Now, in this case now, we have rows and columns. Please, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, yes.
All right. My audio went off before. So now rows and columns, these are rows and these are columns. So in this case now, this part we have Lagos, Kaduna, Abuja. This is a column. The other parts, a row is called a record. Why a field? You could get a field in a particular column. So this part we have Kaduna is this field here is under the state column. This is I don't know what was this. I think it was like amount of money or something. But this is like departments, gender, and these are their names. Now, what do you think is a database? What is a database? From all that we're saying now, what do we think is a database?
Hello.
Hi, who was saying something? I can hear you. Margaret, raise your hand. Talk.
Yes, a database is a storage of data
like a storage where we store data. So that's what the database is. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I can see everybody. Thank you. Collection of data. A database is an organized collection of data so that it can be easily accessed. Central collection. Thank you. Thank you. Can't you present the data in a chart? Billy Razak. I don't understand what you mean. Do you mean reporting the data, or do you mean extracting the data from a chart? Please clarify. Billy Razak, you can use the mic. You can mute yourself. Yeah, data visualization is when you're reporting data. So that's where you have the data visualization. Okay, so I've changed screen now. Remember I told you I was going to be switching. I'm currently on another screen. So thank you for all your responses. They were all lovely. So database is like a collection or a platform where we store data, as everyone has said. So we store data so that we can easily access it. It's a central data storage and things like that. Now, see, look at this picture. If somebody is a database administrator or somebody that is trying to store data in the database, the platform for inputting the data is where your system, then there has to be a server, then there has to be a database. Now, in this case, now we are going to be working for this class. You're going to be working with MySQL. MySQL is a set of software that you need to download and install. And then with MySQL, you can now create databases, create tables in 8 different kind of you can have multiple databases, but then you also have your MySQL has your server. So you need to have a server, you need to input a password. After we're done, we'll take time to do this. If you're all with your systems, we can do this. And then I can also share the links of how to install MySQL server on your system, because that's what we're going to be using. Now, I'm going to input whatever I'm going to input for my system. Yes, MySQL, Abimbola. But apart from MySQL, there's PostgreSQL. There is what's the name? SQL Studio Management. I think something like that. So yeah, thank you very much. SSMS. Yes, there's that. So I use the tool, but it depends on what I'm trying to do. So for this class, the tutor always uses MySQL. So that's why. And then there's this SQLite online. It's just like you have your Colab. You need to be online to be able to use that platform. So there are different setups or servers that you can use to write your SQL queries. Now, a database is a computerized, thank you everyone for the mentions. A computerized database that contains real-world information. It is a set of raw data stored on a server that can be modified, updated by a community of users via a customer interface. Now, we have an organization, maybe, I don't know whatever we're processing, but let's say a production company. And then for every order we get, we need to impute that order on our system. And then that order goes to our database. So our database is usually updated by every order that comes into that company daily. And there's somebody that does that keys in that information. That person can either be a database administrator. So I can just be the person monitoring whatever comes in and managing the database. I'm called the database administrator. So I'm just putting in the data. And that is something you might hear something later, or maybe in your data journey, data collection. It's me either giving you a form to fill, and then you're giving me information. And then I go ahead after all those information. I think when we're during your project days, there's this, what do you call it? It's not survey doc. I can't remember. There's this document.
Questionnaire.
Thank you. Questionnaire. So you have like things you want people to impute and they answer, and then they give it back to you, right? And then you yourself extract your information from those papers. So you can see that it doesn't have to be, a database doesn't have to, a point of data collection doesn't have to be in a table. I can just go and just give you papers. You guys fill this for me. When I just go, I might scan it or just have to just keep on typing everything. And I get, when I said computerized database. Okay. Well, like I was saying earlier when I explained with this image, I said that if a database now in this case could be me typing something, right? Normally on my, let's say, Excel sheet, everybody's used to Excel. If you're not even used to Excel, it could just be your normal Word document or your notes on your phone. I'm typing in something, but I'm going to store this somewhere, right? Now, do you have your Google Drive physical? Your Google Drive is not physical, right? It's online, it's the cloud, right? Your OneDrive or your, what other drive do you have? OneDrive, iCloud, yes, everything, they're actually on the cloud. Now, the cloud is just like a wider or a bigger database for people to store information, because then I can go and extract it. I can go and modify, I can go and update. So in all these cases, isn't it looking like a computerized operation? Because I have to have like a device I'm using to do all this. That is why you have this clients like a computer showing you, then you have to put in information through the server, then to the database. I hope it made sense for my explanation. Bailey Razak. I don't just, now if I want to create a database, I cannot just say I'm using my phone or my normal notepad, right? I'm using biro and paper and I write in my book. Do I call my notebook a database?
Yes, it's a database.
Is your book a database?
No.
So that's it. I hope you understand what I mean by computer.
Yeah.
All right. So what are databases used for? What do we use databases for? Databases increasingly, so do you mean computerized in the sense that yes, local computer or stored on the internet service. Yes, that's what I mean. It doesn't have to be with internet. Yes, that's correct. So databases are increasingly play a vital role as companies shift their processes to digital platforms. My system is slow. I don't know. I'm trying to. Sorry, there are other things that are supposed to come up, but it's taking time to come up. So here are some of the different ways that companies use database. You either build applications with databases. No matter what type of application you are building, it needs a database. Now, when I have an e-commerce website, if I want to track all the orders I've had or how much I've made, that particular platform should have a database that I can just go or visit and say, okay, I want to see all the data that were made, orders that were made in the month of February, or all the others that were made in this, or how much you do make in this so year or so months. I should be able to get that. You should be able to record business transactions. So when you record business transaction, the information is definitely going somewhere. Companies deploy transactional database to record transactions in real time. These types of database are typically stored in rows. You should be able to manage customer data. Customer relationship management systems serve as a database that companies can use to manage and organize customer-related data. Is Bank App a database? It's sort of a database because you know why? You can get your transaction history from a bank app, right? I'm sure all banks apps gives you transaction history. So it's storing something there for you. So we can call it a kind of database. I hope that answers your question. Now, customer relationship management systems serve as a database that companies use to manage and organize customer-related data. It's all organized in one place, making it easier for teams to find data they need without needing to switch between spreadsheets. Now, in this case, we can call this a something like the bank app is a customer relation management system, where you as an individual, you can access your data, you can access your account balance. Since when? Sorry guys. I just saw that I posted a share. I don't know why, and I've been talking since. So I think the last thing you saw was before this. Here are some different with schema, but I've just been reading from the screen, so you can just catch up. So customer relationship management serves as a database that companies use to manage and organize customer related data. It's all organized in one place, making it easier to find teams, for teams to find data they need without needing to switch between spreadsheets. Like I said earlier on your bank app or any application, even e-commerce website, you can access past records or things like that. So that serves like a management system for you, which you can also call a database. Please, I hope I'm clear. Does anybody have a question? Can I move on?
Yes, Ma,
You can use Azure Studio, Mary, but we're not using Azure Studio in the class. Now, not everybody. I think why we decided to go with MySQL is that MySQL is versatile, and then now some of these things, like if you don't understand the data platform and things like that, you may not be able to handle adjust. Although the thing with SQL is that this query language, that is like the syntax, it's similar across every platforms, except for some similar, just little things. Maybe column here is not recognized in one place or the other. You just need to understand what that platform takes and what it doesn't take. Just like in your Python, the rules for writing a Python program language and things like that. Yes, MySQL is actually very friendly. So that's why many people use it. Sometimes I can decide to use SQLite online. I can decide to use Postgres. I can decide to use the SSMS. So anyone, you just need to understand what you are trying to query or what you're trying to get out before you can put out your queries. All right, so let's move. I don't know use my system or use the control of the slide. Somebody is writing on my screen now. Please stop it, though. Beg. Stop writing on my screen. So lastly, it supports business intelligence, helps companies gain valuable insights from their data and help them make informed decisions. I don't know who wrote on my screen, but I don't know if I can clean it. But there's something here. It's a data collection sources. So this is explaining what a data source. The data source, you can have primary data, you can have secondary data. We kind of explained this earlier on. Now, I can get the data from some questionnaire, like we said earlier on, that falls under surveys and interviews. Secondary data, it could be internal data from an organization, external data from a government agency, or even from maybe a website or something like that. That's a kind of example of secondary data. Please, if I'm moving too fast, drag me back. This is the introductory part, so you need to understand this before we dive deep. So data structure. There are 3 types of data that you can store. We've talked about qualitative before, but now we have structured data. It follows a well-defined structure. It's formatted and easily searchable. Examples include product names, prices, and weights. The other one could be unstructured or semi-structured. Now, semi-structured doesn't follow a particular strict or conform to its data model. However, it still has some structural elements like tags. And let's explain. When you say something is structured,